movies, more choice. Next, Tony Randall stars in a magical fantasy for kids of all ages. The Seven Faces of Dr. Lau from George Powell, master of special effects. Next.
Phantasmagoric.
Fantastic.
Futuristic.
Fascinating.
Share a trip through time, space, and the imagination. All December long as Cinemax pays tribute to the special effects artistry of George Powell.
That master of magic, sorcery, wizardry.
Darndest thing I ever saw.
George Powell's brand of special effects has left a special effect on us all.
Oh, very grateful to you to bring us to life.
Who aren't you?
The Time Machine.
I'm referring to the fourth dimension.
Seven Faces of Dr. Lau.
Make a room.
More movies, more choice. Next on Cinemax, sci-fi suspense from George Powell, master of special effects, When Worlds Collide. Next. What are you doing on New Year's Eve? Standing on the street with 10,000 people staring at a building? Or spending New Year's Eve with Cinemax in one of the year's most talked about movies? It's a dark comedy about the ups and downs of teenage life, and it's a surprise. Don't miss this special Cinemax sneak preview, 9:30 Eastern, New Year's Eve.
Got the holiday blues.
I'm in the mood for some fun.
Well, all right, let's go, because it's Cinemania time.
Two darling boys separated at birth. One is human perfection, and the other...
Who knew?
But when they get together...
Let the good times roll.
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito are twins. Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, and Dolly Parton create corporate chaos when their boss gets all tied up. They're working overtime in 9 to 5.
I'm not your ordinary everyday fool, okay?
No, and this is not your ordinary everyday family.
The dog went on the picnic basket.
National Lampoon's Vacation.
I don't want a wife. I want a son.
Get ready for comic contractions in Fraternity. And there's some devilish fun.
Edible chastity belts.
With love at stake. So shake off the blues with 5 comedy pick-me-ups on Cinemax in January. More movies, more choice, more Cinemania. Afghanistan, 1981. The second year of the Russian invasion.
These women, sir, they humbly beg you for the prisoner.
You tell them to watch what happens.
And more than a nation is under siege.
This time your insubordination is going to get you a court-martial. So will killing your own men, sir.
By forces stronger than war itself.
Twisted and sad.
You don't need food and water. We're safe in here. My tanks have been hit by everything.
RPG, kaboom, dunk.
If victory is sweet, revenge may be sweeter. Especially against the beast. Tomorrow on Cinemax.
What does it feel like to knock somebody down?
It makes me feel a hell of a lot better than it does him.
Get ready to duck. Here comes Bronson, starting the year off with a bang.
Welcome.
Who are you?
He's a loner with a taste for revenge.
I'm kind of mad at you.
He's a hunter on the trail of a madman. He's a victim running for his life. He's a fighter living on the edge. And he's a cop.
You could die easy.
Just doing his job.
He's vicious.
He's Charles Bronson.
You don't look like a madman.
Starring on Cinemax in January with 6 white-knuckle heartstoppers, including Breakout.
What hit him?
A complete state of death.
Cinemax. More movies, more choice, more Bronson.
When families get together, it's usually a celebration of family traditions.
Adam looks marvelous.
We're glad
He's
you're
become a man. Look how beautifully he eats.
Well, please.
But when the McMullen family gets together, the tradition they celebrate
This is why I hated putting on your snowsuit.
is something very different. To portray 3 generations of a family of thieves in the new TriStar Pictures comedy drama Family Business,
Please! Who the hell is he?
the best of 3 generations of actors were brought together by director Sidney Lumet.
Hopefully it's going to be deliciously comedic as well as dramatic. It's a very tough picture to categorize that way because it's unlike any picture I've ever done, or in fact, unlike any picture I've ever seen.
I did what little I could for a man my age.
The little that Mr. McMullen was able to do seems to have been pretty effective, Your Honor. The officer has taken 18 stitches in his face, his nose is broken, and his jaw is wired out.
Sean Connery plays Jesse McMullen, a lifelong con artist.
I'm a man trying his best to enjoy his golden years.
Yeah, just keep my son away from your criminal schemes.
Jesse raised his son Vito, played by Dustin Hoffman, to be a thief. Vito, however, has straightened up his life and raised his son Adam, played by Matthew Broderick, to walk the straight and narrow, or so he thought.
We're talking about a lot of money, Pop, and it's not even dangerous.
No.
If it's against the law, it's dangerous.
No, this is a walk.
Yeah?
And he just needs a third guy.
He's a third guy, huh? What, are you crazy? I spent my lifetime thieving with my father, and now I'm going to thieve with my son. The two of you crazy? There must be a full moon out that I don't know about, all right?
This is very much a story about fathers and sons and the kind of odd reversals that take place.
He resents his father's relationship with his own son. And clearly his son, played by Matthew Broderick, prefers the company of my father than to me.
Family Business, a Lawrence Gordon production, brings together 3 top stars, each the best in his own generation.
Sidney was the only director that I ever thought about for the film, and Sean was the only Jesse we thought about for the film.
Now, why do you think he set this whole thing up? Because he can smell the real Vito, that's why.
Smell what?
This Vito. This Vito. That's the real Vito. That's the one he wants respect from. Do you understand?
It never occurred to me that Dustin would want to play it. And I called his agent, and he said, well, he read the script a long time ago and loved it. And a week later, he was in.
I hadn't played a part like that for a long time. The character in Rain Man couldn't express himself emotionally, and certainly was a non-physical person. Vito was basically someone who can only express himself physically, either affectionately or with anger.
You're not doing this.
You want to know something? There's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing I can do.
Right.
There's nothing I can do.
Matthew was the first one I came up with because I've always loved his work.
I was on much tougher scores than this at your age. And all I saw out of them was a ham sandwich. You're starting at the top.
Yeah, that's America. Every generation does a little bit better.
The value might be that we pick up.
In bringing together this perfect cast, veteran Lumet builds upon well over a quarter-century of movie-making family tradition.
And action shot.
Over the years, Connery and Lumet have worked together on several occasions.
It's the first time I've done a film with Sydney. It was one of the attractions as well. We've been very good friends over all these years. It goes back over 20 years.
Sydney is a very talented film director, and I've never worked with anyone who had shot as many films as he had. I think he shot close to 50 films.
Okay.
Lumet also directed Broderick's father, James Broderick, in 5 previous films. And Broderick appreciates the opportunity to work with award-winning talents like Lumet, Connery, and Hoffman.
It is a great sense of history for me to be working with Sidney. He speaks in a language about acting that's very familiar to me. It's very much the way my father spoke about it. And it's, you know, I think that's what's one really advantage to working with good people, is you can see how they do it, you know, and learn.
You know, the mixing of these giant stars, it's been just about the happiest experience I've had in my career. It's just been wonderful, and I'd love to do it again.
What a day this has been. What a grand mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being in love.
More movies, more choice. Next on Cinemax, sci-fi suspense from George Pal, master of special effects, When Worlds Collide. Next. Looking to start the new decade off right?
Obviously.
Good, because in January, Cinemax is going to sweep you off your feet. More movies, more choice. Cinemax in January.
Come on.
His style is witty.
Shama Shama El Malkamama. What does that mean?
His characters are unique.
Who are you?
Who are you?
Don't ask me, I'm a putz.
His films are unforgettable.
Like me.
I can verify that.
In January, Cinemax starts the year off with 6 classic comedies from Neil Simon.
Well, looks like we're off to a great start.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Who goes first?
Barefoot in the Park.
How delightful.
The Out-of-Towners.
I can verify that.
Swell, now we're finally getting somewhere.
Plaza Suite.
Eat your heart out.
The Sunshine Boys.
Sydney and Marvin.
The Goodbye Girl.
Get the picture?
That's very sharp.
And The Slugger's Wife.
Sensational.
So celebrate the new year with Neil Simon.
Did you ever hear the expression, that's where it's at?
Plus, you'll see all 6 Simon classics January 7th on Cinemax.
Well, this is where it's at, and that's where I am.
Heroes, warriors, kings, pirates, flying horses, 2-headed dogs.
Hey, what more can a guy ask for?
Cinemax presents Thrills, Chills, Adventures. Start with your basic hero.
We're not backed by Don. Call him president.
Throw in a mighty warrior.
It's time for action.
Add an unlikely king.
You call it luck. I call it destiny.
Ha ha! Stir in some daring young men. And make room for the pirates.
A pirate ship in pirate waters in a pirate world.
Kurt Russell, Harry Hamlin, Sean Connery, Michael Caine, Tony Curtis, and Burt Lancaster. Non-stop excitement in January, Cinemax style. More movies, more choice, more thrills, chills, adventures.
The following movie is rated G.